We are closing in on the last few Spirit Halloween props of the year. This one is Jack the Reaper, which is labeled as a collector's item. I don't know why they're doing that. I feel like they'll bring him back almost every year just because he's their mascot, but maybe not. He could be a limited prop, or they might make reskins of other animatronics as Jack the Reaper. This one's sort of a Nibbles reskin because it has the motion tracking technology. I'll also be doing a video on comparing both of them and everything like that. This box is also massive and it weighs like 30 pounds. There's the height comparison. It is 7.5 feet tall. You can see the picture on the side. And I think this is a pretty cool animatronic. I'm glad they have a sturdy box for this. There's 2 more pictures. You can see the motion tracking camera is actually in his fingertip. It's not in his nose like Nibbles. We're back to the front of the box. Now something weird is that like there's a piece that's glued on up here. It's like coming off. This box is interesting. We're gonna go ahead and unbox it. We got a pull-out tray in here. Here's what we got inside. There is a lot of parts. First thing we see is this huge scythe top piece. The detail on this is crazy. It's a hard plastic and has a connector that's a square at the top. Next thing we got in here is, looks like leg poles that are zip tied. So these are in a bag. I'm gonna pull these out so we can see what they look like. First pole looks like this, has a cotter pin on each end. I feel like it's a stability pole. And if they do have cotter pins on the ends, that's gonna be great because they always fall out. These have a lot of connection point things on here. I don't even know what I'm looking at. And then this one has a few as well. And then this pole sticking out the side. We might have to use the instructions for this prop. Next thing is this bag full of clothing. A power adapter. He's pulling 5.9 volts with 2 amps. A lot of extra cardboard in here as well. Now let's see his hand that has the camera in it. This is what it looks like up close. Very small camera. These are screws right here. I thought there was maybe 2 more cameras in there. There is a 4-pin wire coming out of this as well. And that's what it looks like. Got another piece right here. Looks like a U-shaped leg type of pole. This is interesting. Looks like a hip loop with a back piece, which also has a fork-hook connector on it. There are some parts in here that we have never seen before. Straight pole. Looks like this has to be part of his arm or something because it has that 4-pin wire going through it. Here is the upper torso piece. There is a crazy gearbox at the top. This is interesting. I don't know how they have the precise controls. I do see a servo motor right here though. That is definitely a servo, not a regular motor. I think this is an SVI prop as well, but crazy looking piece once again. His other hand, there's that square for the scythe pole to go through. Another weird piece. I feel like I keep saying this, but it's all stuff we haven't seen. Instructions. There's quite a lot of steps on there. More cardboard. Even more. All right, here's something really cool, his head. This is what it looks like. It talks. And it's got Velcro points here, here, and there. So there's 3. This is, once again, a 4-pin connector. I feel like all these connectors are 4-pin. And he's got black fabric on the inside of his mouth, which is cool. I'm glad they did that. And he's got that one eye that does light up, and the other one's missing. He's also hard plastic. No latex overlay on there. And he has like a bobby strings type of connector. Same thing as Nibbles. And this is probably why the box is so big because of this base. And they do have all these poles on here, and this is something I've complained about before, how they'd never have cotter pins on here. They do on this prop, which is super cool. Here's an overview of all the parts, starting with the head, both hands, the one that has the motion tracking camera in it, power adapter, 2 lower torso frames, 4 metal poles, the base, 2 arms, one that has the wire going down it, clothing, the Reaper's scythe, his instructions, and the upper torso with control box and main mechanism. Starting with the build, we have this crazy looking base with a ton of support poles, which is going to link into this piece labeled B. It's got a snap lock as well as this pin that you screw in on the back. I would call this a wing nut bolt. You want to tighten that all the way down, and then you have a bunch of these cotter pins that you want to pull out. I don't think there's a specific order on this, but I'm going to loosen that bolt again so I have some wiggle room to get these in, and then tighten it back up after. And you do want to put the cotter pins back through. The front and back pole is a little bit thicker than the sides. And tightening up this wing nut bolt. I don't even think you need it after how many poles we just put on here. This thing is super sturdy, and that is for sure. You can see it's not going anywhere. The next pole that goes on top of this is labeled C. It has this weird piece shooting off the side, which is for an arm. Has another wing nut bolt situation going on here. And this is how it looks. These instructions are super weird, but it says to connect the part labeled J, which is his arm, into here. The instructions now say to put the clothing over with one arm going through here on the clothing and dropping it over like that. Next step is to grab pole labeled D and slide the hand through it. There's that square connector at the top. And then snap lock it in right here. You want to put the Velcro onto the wrist. And then there's 2 pieces right here you put together. So we've got a floating arm now. And we're going to put the scythe on. You just put it over and gravity will do the rest. Looks like that. And then it looks like you connect this right here, but that's actually not the case. You're going to connect right there on his arm. So this whole mechanism is floating as well. Super weird. Next step is tucking this piece through the clothing. And then there is a snap lock on the back side of this pole that we will be connecting. And there is another piece that goes to this in a second, but we're going to pull this clothing up a little bit more. There's a Velcro opening on the whole back side of this clothing. Goes down pretty far. Still going. All the way to the bottom. So this piece connects in. I am going to remove the cotter pin up here. Connecting it over and then putting that cotter pin back through. And then down here, this one is going to connect into there. I might have to take the top part back out to align it just right, but I'm going to try to just push it in. That wasn't too difficult. And this is how it looks now. We have the arm with the wire that has a cotter pin on the end. We're pulling that out, and it goes through this gear slot all the way through. I know a lot of you guys that are probably building this right now are watching the video because you have no clue what you're doing, and I am pretty clueless at the moment too. It takes me about 5 minutes in between each cut to figure out what's going on. And we have that wire that connects right here. And then there's a support pole, which looks like this. And that is gonna go in just like that. So many pins on this prop. They got carried away. Quickly popping this back off because you do have to put it up the sleeve. And I don't know if this is a rip in mine, but you want to go past that right through to the end. There is this cone piece of fabric that has to go over his arm. Make sure to pull the wire through and that connector. And then get the camera finger. Just want to show how big this finger is compared to the rest. It looks like he pinched it between a door or something. Pulling the pin out and putting it back through and connecting the wire. On the top, there is Velcro, connecting that. We're putting the cape over his neck where the head would be. The shorter side of this is going to go on the front, and the longer side on the back. It does have a seam line. That's how you know it goes back there. Some of the final steps are going to be his head and the hood, and then we're going to move to the back and close it all up. Making sure to tuck that wire down in there, and his head is connected on. There is those 3 Velcro points on the top, and I'll be putting the hood on top of those. You can see inside of his hat where those are. I'm gonna start with the middle one. And then the 2 sides. And that's how it looks. We're gonna spin them around. Now's a good time to plug the power adapter in, as well as set your mode. I'm gonna put mine on always on mode with the volume about 80% of the way up. And there is that 1 wire I need to connect in here. And then we're gonna close the back of them up. Just got the clothing fixed up, and now we're gonna go on to the demo. This is what his camera looks like in the finger, and he is gonna be tracking me.
I can see straight into your soul. You can never escape my evil eye. It's too late to run. It's too late to hide. You don't even have time to scream. I see you. I follow you around every dark corner. Creep along with the monsters under your bed and turn your dreams into nightmares. You think you can escape me? I am Jack the Reaper. I make the skies turn orange, the wind howl, and the bats swarm. There is no place my bone-chilling grip cannot reach.
Overall, this prop is pretty unique. I like that the mouth opens, the eye lights up red, and his head tracks you as well as his arm. The fact he's got the camera in there like Nibbles the Clown is a super cool touch. We've been wanting a Jack the Reaper animatronic for a while, but the downside of this is how bad the build is. The clothing never lines up. This took about an hour and a half, I would say, to build the whole thing. As easy as it looks on camera, off camera, it's a disaster. The price is $330. And by the way, guys, I put overnight shipping on this so you guys could see it first. And it was $415 to get it shipped to my house. So anyways, let me know what you guys think of this prop, if you're gonna be getting him, and if you're gonna see him in store. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.